From the Fantasy Armchair, it is the Fantasy Tyrant.
Hey there, fellow fantasy football freaks. Welcome back to the Fantasy Armchair. Alright, no bullshit today, folks. It's time for the real deal. Fantasy advice that you can use to crush your league. I know it's still months away from the NFL season, but the draft has passed. And some leagues, especially Dynasty leagues, are already drafted. So let's let the speculation begin. Like I said, many of us are in Dynasty leagues, and knowing a rookie's potential can really help out for this season and beyond. Rookies are the way to build a long-lasting, dominant Dynasty squad. Now, figuring out which star player to choose in the draft and which position is hard enough, but deciphering which rookies or not will become a star, that takes some mad skills. A sharp eye for raw talent, keen sense of how a player's abilities match up with the team's playbook, and understanding of how intangibles can affect a player's outlook. And sometimes it's just pure dumb luck. Now the last one is impossible to determine, but the other three are obtainable if you play the game right, and that's why I'm here, to help you strengthen those other three traits like I have. On my show, I give away the secrets other gurus make you pay to learn, and learn them the wrong way. So welcome to the beginning of your trek into Dynasty domination. I'm your Sherpa on this journey, the Fantasy Tyrant. Shall we begin? Now before we get to my top 10 rookies to draft this season in Dynasty, let's not forget about the quest for 1,000. That's right, I'm asking you to help me pump up these numbers. I'm well over halfway to 1,000, so I think we can get this done by the beginning of the season. Because once I hit that 1,000 and start making some YouTube cash, I'll be doing my biggest and best Grandprize Giveaway ever. You want more details on that? Other information about the show, where things are going, updates, things like that, check out that video floating above my head. There's details and surprises on there you're not going to want to miss, so check it out. Or you can just click the link in the description and it'll take you right to the Fantasy Tyrants 2022 season kickoff. And please do your part in helping us reach that goal. Smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the bell so you won't miss any episodes. And share this with everyone you know who would appreciate this content. Plus it helps you get entries into the Grandprize Giveaway. Let's all do our part in helping the hashtag Tyrant Gang as well as the Fantasy Kingdom grow. Alright, enough business. We're on to my top 10 video, but here's the thing, doing things a little bit different. This time, instead of starting with 10, starting with 1. Hey, it's my show, I'll do what the fuck I want. So here we go. You know what that music means? Yeah, it's time for a top 10 video, and this time I'm doing the top 10 running back rookies to draft in Dynasty. And we're starting off with my number 1 running back in this rookie class, Breece Hall.
Oh, there's a big surprise! That's an incredible... I think I'm gonna have a heart attack and die from that surprise!
Yeah, that's why I started with the number 1 this time. No point in building the suspense when you know the number 1 back in the 2022 draft by far is Breece Hall. Even being drafted by the team where great college players go to die isn't enough to keep this dude away from the top spot on this list. Even considering the fact that the Jets already have a viable starting running back in Michael Carter on the squad, Hall is still the clear-cut top back in this rookie class. The Jets made some big moves in the draft, and in the past couple years, Zach Wilson might have a chance to flourish with what could quickly become the best 1-2 punch at the running back position, taking away attention from his talented 1-2 punch of young wide receivers in Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore. And that tantalizing duo will keep defenses from stacking the box against Hall and Carter. Breece Hall makes everyone better on the Jets, except maybe Michael Carter, who I think will eventually be traded, if not this year, then next. So don't worry about Carter getting in the way of Hall's production. That won't be an issue for too long, at least from a Dynasty perspective. And if you aren't familiar with Hall's talent, the numbers don't lie. He had a 99 overall draft score, which puts him in good company with the likes of Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, Saquon Barkley, and Derrick Henry. He ran a 4.39 40 at 5'11 and 217 pounds of get the fuck out of the way. His athleticism is off the charts, even when compared to a superstar like Jonathan Taylor or Adrian Peterson, as you can see here. Hall recorded a 40-inch vertical jump and a 126-inch broad jump. He also has a sizable wingspan of 75 and 7/8 inches. That's a 73rd percentile for running backs, giving him a unique catch radius for that position, which he's used in the past to his advantage in contested catch situations. Plus, he has large hands measuring at 9 3/4 inches. That's 85th percentile for running backs. Those big mitts have helped him limit drops and fumbles, making him a PPR threat as well as a damn solid running back one for years to come. After all, he did have 36 receptions last season, putting him 10th overall in receptions among FBS backs. His elusiveness should also not go unnoticed, as he makes defenders miss on 31% of tackle attempts when touched, putting him in the 89th percentile in that metric. The Jets scheme is a perfect fit as well, as they run a wide zone running scheme, and according to Pro Football Focus, 73.8% of Hall's career carries at Iowa State came on zone concepts. And he was a beast in terms of yardage as well, racking up 3,941 yards on 718 carries. Hall averaged an efficient 5.5 yards per carry in that span, and he improved his efficiency each year, rising from 4.8 yards per carry as a freshman to 5.6 as a sophomore and 5.8 as a junior. I could go on and on for hours about this guy, but the bottom line is, this is a 3-down star back in the making. He needs to be the first player taken off the board in rookie drafts this season. Trade up to get him if you can. Number 2, Kenneth Walker. All you Rashad Penny apologists out there, eat your heart out. Walker's going to send your Penny stocks up in flames. Penny's a handcuff at best now. Walker will sit behind Penny for exactly 1 week, if even that. Then Penny will get hurt and Walker will take over. Hell, even if the inevitable Penny injury doesn't happen, Walker's talent alone will earn him the RB1 spot for the Seahawks early on this season. In his last season of college ball, after transferring to Michigan State, Walker led all running backs in rushing yards, missed forced tackles, and explosive runs, eventually garnering him the Doak Walker Award for Best College Running Back. He's damn quick as well, running a 4.3840 at the combine, but it's his elusiveness that's his bread and butter. He's been compared to Java Williams in terms of elusiveness and breaking tackles, and we saw what Java could do when Melvin Gordon wasn't in his way. With Penny being Penny, and Chris Carson all but retired due to lingering neck issues, I see less getting in Walker's way than Java, making him not only a solid prospect for the future, but a fantasy asset who will contribute and help team managers flourish this season as well. Nah, he's not a generational talent like Breece Hall, but he could be a borderline RB1, RB2 in the long run. In PPR, he is definitely less valuable as the Seahawks rank dead last in targets to the running back position, but with Drew Lock at the helm, likely he'll be instructed to hand the ball off more as the Seahawks reestablish a run-first offensive scheme. However, the Seahawks will likely be playing a lot of catch-up, so may abandon the run early on in a lot of games. This is definitely more for Dynasty than season long. Buyer beware, but in Dynasty, if you get him in the right spot, he could bring back solid returns in future seasons. Number 3, James Cook. Will he be the superstar bell cow that his brother is? That remains to be seen, but he did end up in a pretty cushy spot. As if the Bills needed to get any better, they now have a potential star running back on their hands. Singletary owners are sweating, and Zach Moss owners, well, are there any Zach Moss owners left? The Bills are built to be a perennial Super Bowl contender, and their stock just went up. Yeah, the coaches are on record as saying they like him as a third down back or a sub back, but I think it's only a matter of time until Cook is the lead back for the Bills. In the meantime, he'll likely be used much in the same way as J.D. McKissick, who the Bills tried to sign in the offseason. Don't let his low 4-year college numbers fool you. He played behind DeAndre Swift and Samir White at Georgia, so he didn't really get a chance to shine until his senior year, where he had 113 rushes for 728 yards, 6.44 yards per carry, and 7 rushing touchdowns, adding 27 receptions for 284 yards, with 10.52 yards per reception and 4 receiving touchdowns. This 1-year sample of lead back production is what shot Cook up the draft board, and in a game that's all about what have you done for me lately, that production speaks volumes. Cook's got the skill set to be a hybrid back, catching passes in the backfield and in the slot, and he'll surely be a lot more efficient than Singletary, who ranks second to last in efficiency for running backs who caught over 40 balls at only 5.7 yards per catch. Yikes. For now, this is a proper running back by committee, but after this season, Singletary and Duke Johnson become free agents, leaving only Zach Moss in James Cook's way. Shouldn't be an issue for Cook. He'll be the lead back for the Bills no later than next season, so in season long, he's a decent fill-in as needed, but in Dynasty, he could be a solid RB2 at least in the foreseeable future. Either way, a hybrid back is a boon for PPR, so don't let him slip through your fingers. Could he prove to be a bust? Yeah, sure, but with the genetics, as well as what we've seen from him when given the chance to shine, James Cook has the potential to be a viable fantasy asset now and in the future. I wouldn't trade the farm for him, but he's worth a pickup if he falls to you. Number 4, Damien Pierce. Of all the rookie running backs in my top 10, Pierce has the clearest path to fantasy production and the least competition standing in his way. And with only Marlon Mack and Rex Burkhead to compete with, I expect the running back sleeper of the 2022 draft to make a serious bid for the top running back spot in Houston this season, and certainly moving forward. Obviously, Pierce had the best landing spot of running backs in this draft. But is that enough to make him a true fantasy asset this season and going forward? No. And a lot of people have criticized his production at Florida, but this is more due to the scheme Dan Mullins ran in Florida, which tragically underutilized Damien's skill set. He was a 4-star recruit out of high school, but his talent was wasted in the Gators offense. He only averaged around 10 carries per game last season, playing only 324 snaps in 13 games. However, it's his efficiency that has me so high on this dude. He had 13 touchdowns per 100 carries and 3 receiving touchdowns on 19 catches for 216 yards last season. On his career, he's averaged 6.6 yards per catch and 5.7 yards per carry. His tape shows his talent running seam and hitch routes, and he displayed his tremendous pass blocking prowess at the Senior Bowl. All in all, while he's not the speediest guy in the field, he has the skills necessary to be a 3-down back, and he's a powerful, physical, run through the tackles kind of rusher who could be a true goal line threat. That's fantasy gold right there. And with a couple curtain jerking jabronis as his only competition in the backfield, sorry Marlon Mack lovers, Pierce could be the lead back early on this season, so he's not only a good pickup in Dynasty, but in season long as well. Don't be afraid to take this rookie in either format. Number 5, Rachaad White. This dude is a PPR machine in the making. He ranked number 1 in his class in receiving yards, number 1 in yards per route run, and number 2 in receptions. His 16% target share was insane. That just shows how much trust he had catching the ball at Arizona State. Add in the fact that he was number 1 in yards per snap for college running backs last season, and you could see why this guy could be a big-time back in this league and for fantasy as well. The only thing standing in his way is Leonard Fournette. Lenny has the love of Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay coaching staff, and for good reason. He played well as the lead back for the Bucs, enough to where he basically left Rojo in the dust, prompting Tampa Bay to let him go, and anoint Lenny Fournette as their new lead back on the offense, until the draft that is. No, I don't see White overtaking Lenny this season, but in the next couple years, this could be a committee. Fournette is a free agent in 2025, but Tampa Bay may move on from him before that if White makes enough of a splash when given the opportunity. This is definitely more of a long-haul play, which is why I have White this low. If you're stacked at running back in Dynasty and want to stash someone for the future, this is a great pickup. He will contribute right away, but his real value will kick in when Lenny is gone in a couple years. White's athleticism and skill set reminds one of Arian Foster or Lev Bell. Pretty lofty comparisons, but this dude can deliver. He just needs a shot to do it. Pick this guy up, and you're one Fournette injury away from having a steal on your hands and a truly viable fantasy asset. And if that happens, Fournette could get Wally pipped in a hurry. A top stash rookie running back right here. Number 6, Samir White. Hey, it's the second of 2 Whites on this list of top rookie running backs. Man, there's gotta be a Christian McCaffrey joke somewhere here, right? Maybe I'll save it for later in the season, though. Don't want to blow my load all at once. Anyway, Samir White had the service of sharing the backfield at Georgia with the brother of a star NFL running back who actually got selected higher than him and is higher on this list. Talking, of course, about James Cook. Georgia is known for stacking the running back position and running 2 or 3 backs at a time regularly. This severely hampered his output, but that just makes this guy another sleeper waiting to happen. The only thing really keeping him from going high on this list is the situation he finds himself in. 3rd on the depth chart in Vegas behind Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake. In redraft, he's probably a late round flyer in deep leagues at best. We'd likely have to see both Jacobs and Drake go out with injury before we'd see enough out of White to make him fantasy viable. However, with the Raiders declining the 5th-year option on Jacobs and Drake already set to be a free agent next season, White could be the starter as early as next year. So in Dynasty, he may be a steal in the late 2nd round or early 3rd round of rookie drafts, where he's currently going. Dude ran a 4.440 and a 10.5+ foot broad jump, goddamn! At 6 foot and 214 pounds, this dude is built to be a 3-down back and has a skill set to make that happen in the NFL. He's been compared to Lamar Miller, but I like his potential even more than that. That combo of size, speed, and athleticism could make this dude a future RB2 in fantasy, at least. And with the Raiders making some vast improvements in the offense, the running back position may flourish in Vegas. It seems inevitable that White becomes the top dog there at the running back position as early as next season, so he's worth taking there at the 2nd, 3rd round turn. Number 7, Isaiah Spiller. This is your ultimate high-risk, high-reward pick up here. This is what I call a Jekyll and Hyde pick. On one hand, he's got a lot of lead back experience, never playing behind anyone in college. The lead dog from day one with the Aggies. In 2019, Spiller, a true freshman that season, scored 10 rushing touchdowns and finished 16th in the nation in yards after contact per attempt. He went back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons in his first 2 seasons and racked up over 100 missed tackles. He also caught passes, catching 25 per season with, at worst, an 8% target share. He was efficient and elusive, which really shot him up the draft boards. However, on the other hand, a lackluster 2021 season exposed his lack of speed and burst with only 8 carries of 20 yards plus last year. That coupled with an underwhelming combine where he elected not to run the 40 and took a big dump at the jumping drills, placing in the 7th percentile for his vertical and 22nd percentile in the broad jump. And then at his pro day, where he tested well below average with a 4.27 second short shuttle and a 4.63 40-yard dash, rating 62nd and 44th in percentile respectively. All of this caused an easily predicted drop all the way down to the 4th round to the Chargers. LA may have gotten a steal here, or they may have snagged a career backup running back. Only time will tell. He's going to have some time to develop behind perennial fantasy stud and fantasy football enthusiast Austin Eckler. He's already the number 2 back on the Chargers depth chart, so they definitely see his potential. With the right coaching and conditioning, Spiller can make a name for himself and be a sneaky stash for dynasty managers. Just gotta hope he's more Dr. Jekyll and less Mr. Hyde. Number 8, Tyler Algiere. So this is where things become a little less clear and we start heading into dynasty-only conversation. Algiere is a talented back, but he went to the Falcons as their 3rd running back on the chart behind Cordero Patterson and Damien Williams. 3rd on the depth chart on a team that isn't exactly known for their running game. I mean, Patterson was great, but he was definitely more of a hybrid gadget guy than a true running back. But you can't ignore Algiere's production over the last couple years at BYU. He ranked 1st in rushing yards after contact and 2nd in rushing touchdowns with 36 in that span, 23 last year alone. Attributing his power running ability to his time spent playing linebacker. Yeah, this guy is built like a linebacker, nearly 6 feet and 220 pounds. Yeah, he only ran a 4.6 40, but he could be an end zone vulture like James Conner. His landing spot leaves him much to be desired, but his skill set gives him eventual flex consideration at least. Not this season unless shit goes bananas in Atlanta, which it's known to do, so you never know. Could even be talking about this kid on the waiver wire episodes late in the season, we'll see. Number 9, Pierre Strong. When you come from a small school like South Dakota State, you better play your ass off and crush your competition. A 3.3 yards per play average, that's per play, not per touch, had Strong ranked 2nd in his class at the running back position, which demonstrates that Strong did just that, crushed his competition. He was dominant against his opponents, and putting up the 2nd best 40 time at 4.37 among running backs at the Combine didn't hurt either. Pierre had a particularly strong outing at the Combine altogether. See what I did there? And that clearly impressed Coach Belichick enough to draft him in the 4th round, despite the Pats already having a slew of running backs like Damien Harris, James White, and Ramondre Stevenson. I don't like owning Pats running backs because their running game and hierarchy therein is so unpredictable from game to game. But the talent can't be denied, and considering he didn't fumble once in college, Coach Belichick may be all about this kid. He could see some real opportunity if he works hard and continues to keep the ball off the ground. worth a stash or taxi spot. And my number 10 rookie running back to draft in Dynasty this season, Brian Robinson Jr. Chalk this low ranking up to a bad landing spot. Robinson's abilities are nothing to question. He has above average quickness, ranked 10th in yards after contact per attempt last season, and 3rd in missed tackles. Plus, he caught 35 of 38 passes. He's a solid, all-around back and has the potential to be a starter in the NFL. However, he's 3rd at best in the Commanders' depth chart behind J.D. McKissic and star running back Antonio Gibson. And with another highly talented young back in Jaret Patterson nipping at his heels, it'll be hard for Robinson to carve a role in this offense. Although, to his credit, he has experience dealing with stiff competition at his position in the past, contending with the likes of Josh Jacobs, Damien Harris, and Najee Harris at Alabama the last 4 years. Gotta see how that backfield shakes out, as it seems at this point only a catastrophe will garner Robinson enough touches to blip on the fantasy radar. But his all-around talents make him hard to pass up, at least as a taxi stash. So there you go, folks. There's my top 10 running backs to draft this year in Dynasty and maybe in season long as well. Couple of honorable mentions real quick. Hassan Haskins, I'm not super big on this guy, but he is the backup for King Henry, so that's gotta be worth something. A handcuff at least. Ty Davis Price may be way down the depth chart for the 49ers, like 4th or 5th, but hey, that means he could be a starter in week 3. You know, the way Shanahan runs the backs. Keep an eye on him. Kyron Williams was thought to be a top 5 running back by a lot of analysts coming into this draft. That is until he completely shit himself at the combine. As it turned out, he was only taken in the 5th round, and he finds himself behind Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, and is competing with the wild card Jake Funk on the Rams depth chart. He'll have to do a lot to prove himself worthy of a roster spot, let alone playing time. Snoop Connor? Yeah, that might be a good late round flyer if you just want to have a Snoop Dogg related name for your team. Other than that, I'll pass. So that's it, folks. 1 down, 3 to go. Come back tomorrow for my top 10 wide receivers list. Until then, please like this video, share it with everyone you can, subscribe if you haven't, hit the bell so you don't miss any episodes. And once we hit 1,000 subscribers, my biggest grand prize giveaway of all time is on. Good luck in your Dynasty drafts, and if you want some help with that, go ahead and click the Patreon link down below, and I'll hook you up. Until tomorrow, I'm out. Peace.